What's the dumbest myth people today believe? Halloween candy is commonly laced with drugs or razor blades. Still blows my mind that people think the earth is flat. That Einstein failed his grade school math class. It was the subject of a Ripley's Believe It or Not column in 1935, and Einstein himself refuted the article. In primary school, he had been at the top of class, and by 15 he had mastered differential and integral calculus. That there are magic pills that make you lose weight and gain muscle without ever going to a gym. Or that there are snake oils that will take years off of your face and make you look young. There's a sucker born every minute. Anything about MSG. I battle with my health-conscious wife about this often. Had to explain to a grown *SS adult that blood isn't blue inside the body and red once it hits oxygen because blood already carries oxygen. That there are dozens of hot singles in my area just dying to meet me. That op is reading any of these answers. That humans only use 10% of their brain. This is false, regardless of how those who proclaim this myth seemingly demonstrate that it is in fact true. When I had cancer a few years back and was doing chemotherapy, I had people who constantly questioned that I actually had cancer, due to the fact that my hair didn't fall out until I was actually in remission. Had been off chemo for about 2 to 3 weeks when my hair started gradually thinning and falling out. It's a complete myth that every single person's hair will have the same reaction to chemo. Some people lose hair right away, some don't. Everybody is different. That magnetic jewelry healing will cure just about anything. A dude named Mesmer the 1780 came up with the idea, and it have been debunked many times, yet it's still a billion-dollar industry. Fun fact. The word, mesmerized, is related to him. Had a cab driver insisting that the reactor meltdown at Fukushima was a failed Chinese attack on the US. The plan was to superheat the rods so they'd burn into the ground, through the center of the earth, and come out in America and irradiate it. Amazing. So many people think narwhals are mythical. A more serious one, that people who have been hurt or oppressed are morally better. My mom thought that because she had been hurt by her dad, whatever she did to the family was somehow justified. The Hutus were legitimately oppressed by the Tutsis, but to be fair, that comes back to Leopold, the patron Satan of Africa. All people are fundamentally similar. Trickle-down economics. Ever sent a nude to the wrong person? What happened? How did they respond? Happened with one of my exes. She got a new phone and was updating her contacts. She chose my *ICKPIC as her temporary profile pic for when I called. I was at work while she was getting her gallbladder taken out. Started to worry because she should have been in post-op and almost discharged by then. So I kept calling and it would ring twice, then to voicemail. Redial. Ring once, straight to voicemail. Redial 2 more times, straight to voicemail. Turns out her mom had her belongings and my angry *1er kept saying hello, up close and personal, over and over. Family dinners were awkward for a while after that. Not me but my wife. She has sent a very explicit nude of hers to her mother instead of me. End result. Masala, you're beautiful. As response from my mother-in-law. Then similar responses from her sisters and sisters-in-law because yeah, her mother forwarded it. Sent to the wrong person? No, posted to my Facebook feed? Yes, few family members unfriended me. Got a few DMs asking did I realize what I did. 2 DMs asking if I had more, not family, before you ask. Yes. He showed everyone. It wasn't the wrong number but he was definitely the wrong person. He showed the entire school. I accidentally sent one to my best friend. I tapped the wrong contact, and she replied, **********. I did once some years back. Sent a snap to FCO worker. I had absolutely no idea until I got a snap from her telling me I looked nice and asked if she was supposed to return the favor. Told her it was completely up to her but it was an accident. She sent me one back anyways. We left it at that and we would bring it up every once in a while and just giggle about it. Haven't seen her since I left that job but this question definitely brought this memory back lol. Not a nude but I accidentally sexted my boss thinking I was talking to my husband. He sent back, "I don't think this was meant for me." I sent him biggest apology ever and we never spoke about it ever. I was meaning to text my boyfriend the picture, but must have still been in the iMessage chat to my dad at the time, and sent it without checking. Seeing that the nude had been texted to my dad, immediately called him. I was going to ask him to delete the pictures, and that they were inappropriate and were supposed to go to my boyfriend. That way he wouldn't see the images themselves. He would just know I had taken nudes. Somehow, by the grace of God, my sister answered his phone, as she was living at home at the time. I begged her for help, and she was able to delete the images off his phone. My dad never knew the incident ever occurred. I asked my sister how I could repay her, and she asked me to never ever bring it up again. I owe her one, eternally. I have. She responded that it was a nice ang. Then let me show her how I can use my ang to draw a cat. Yes. Gave me advice on better angles and said, "At least yours has a nice look." Still no clue what SHE meant. A couple of years ago, my actual girlfriend was on vacation with her family and sent a picture of her knack to my sister, instead of me, by mistake. I remember I was at a friend's party and suddenly receive a text from my sister saying she had finally gathered the courage to tell me she was sorry for secretly having X with my GF for a while and that she had taken a picture for proof, attaching it to the message. I was slightly stoned but enough to believe to everything, for hours, until I realized the picture was a selfie taken in front of a mirror. I accidentally posted a video of me masturbating and moaning to my Snapchat story at 3 a.m. instead of to just the one person I was sexting. For some reason one of my friends was awake at that time besides the person I was sexting and they saw it. "You are disgusting," she told me and then removed me from Snapchat. Luckily this was after we worked together, but I feel like most people would understand that it was not on purpose. I promptly removed it from my story after she messaged me. Unfortunately for the person I was sexting, I was too embarrassed to do any more sexting that night after that.
What is a subtle sign someone isn't a good person? Every time you interact with them, you feel worse than before. They are very concerned with making sure you know they're a good person. They tell small lies. The kind you might pick up on and not mention cause it's not anything big, but when added up they can completely change the context of a situation. They tell you things about their other friends that they should keep between them. It also means they're telling your business to someone else. How they treat the person serving them at dinner. Anything you say to them can and will be used against you, but subtly. Talking about how all their friends left them or that they were kicked out of multiple friend groups. It keeps happening for a reason. Their kindness is contingent on their level of attraction to you, others, with a tendency to ignore and or be cold to those whom they are not attracted to. I would classify this trait as subtle, because it's easy to miss if you are not aware of how they interact with other people relative to you. As such, this tendency is very easily overlooked when you are just beginning to know someone. When they apologize during a conflict, they get angry if that doesn't immediately end the conflict because they never truly felt sorry and their only goal was to escape repercussion. This will become evident when the behavior they had apologized for keeps happening and never improves. Signed. Someone who has been on both sides of the equation. They often criticize others but can't handle any criticism about themselves at all.
What screams, "I have no life"? Being on the receiving end of CPR. Reddit mod. Making fun of other people's hobbies. Being way too invested into the life of reality TV stars. People who obsessively post their life, relationships on Instagram. Worrying about what others are doing with their life. All the collective hours I have on video games. Tombstone with your name on it. Arguing with people on the internet. Scrolling on Reddit answering questions so I can get more karma points. I think that's all the "I have no life" evidence you need. All you talk about is your job. I'm level 370 on Warzone 2. Being the only guy ever offered extra shifts or hours because you never say no. Pretty much my life ATM.
Gamers of Reddit, what do you feel is a franchise that needs to make a comeback? Command and Conquer. Portal 3 when? Gauntlet. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Splinter Cell was 10 the last time a game came out in that franchise. I'm now 20 years old still waiting for **ucking sequel to Blacklist, and the only thing they've given us in regards to a game is a remake nobody asked for, in which it is being written by people without experience. Which I wouldn't be against, but the writers spend hours on Twitter arguing with people, which makes me curious about how much time they spend on the story, considering they always seem to be active on Twitter. Time Splitters. Jak and Daxter. SSX will settle for a 4K remaster of Tricky. Simpsons Hit and Run. Twisted Metal Fight Me. Can y'all imagine a Twisted Metal arena with the Rocket League engine, but with a slew of weapons? Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Overlord. Dungeon Keeper.